All right, welcome back to another edition of We Rise Fighting Labor podcast. We bring you today's labor news, history, and analysis from the U.S. and around the world. This is a podcast you listen to with your fellow workers organizing on the shop floor. This is a podcast you listen to before walking into your union meeting. As always, I'm Rico Rutia, here with my co-host, Brian Pfeiffer. In this week's news, we update you on labor in Palestine, the UAW strike, Starbucks workers, SAG-AFTRA, GEO, the Graduate Employees Organization, and the Kaiser Permanente strike. And as always, we like to kick the show off with a little culture. Tonight, Brian introduced me to the music of Reese Palmer and her song titled Seeds. I was able to catch the video for the song on YouTube and have to say that I really loved how Reese Palmer highlighted the struggle of police brutality in the Black community and in the same video highlighted the struggle of Latino immigrants at the border. I also dig the lyrics, which include a section that goes as follows. You're too free, you're too proud, shine too bright, speak too loud. For when they come to cut you down, that's when you gotta stand your ground. When they bury your dreams, we push them up through concrete. We're growing where they can't see. These roots run deep because we are seeds. When we rise up, no weapon can stop us. No wall can block us. No, hate can't stop love. We are seeds.
912, black male on foot, 591D, acting erratic, possibly armed, code 3.
Brothers and sisters, don't believe what you've been sold. They can bury your body, but never touch your soul. They built you a prison and locked up your mind. Made you think you're nothing and filled your head with lies. Can't act too free, act too proud, shine too bright, speak too loud. When they try to cut you down, that's when you gotta stand your ground. When they bury our dreams, we push them up through concrete. We growing where they can't see. These roots run deep cause we are seeds. When we rise up, no weapon can stop us. No wall can block us. No hate can't stop love. We are seeds. Hey, I said we are seeds. Mothers and fathers, ancestors of this earth, bring us strength and wisdom. Teach your children what they're worth. Cause onward truth and mercy, they won't fall to anyone. They're standing on our shoulders, reaching for the sun. When they bury our dreams, we push them up through concrete. We growing where they can't see. These roots run deep cause we are seeds. When we rise up, no weapon can stop us. No wall can block us. No hate can't stop love. We are seeds. Hey, I said we are seeds. Yeah, I said the battle is now, and we are the army. I said the battle is now. We are the army. I said the battle is now, and we are the army. I said the battle is now. It's now. It's now. Right now. Hey, when they bury our dreams, we push them up through concrete. We growing where they can't see. These roots run deep cause we are seeds. When we rise up, no weapon can stop us. No wall
Good evening, listeners. This is Brian and Rick, We Rise Fighting. We're continuing our coverage on Palestine in this episode. Millions have taken to the streets worldwide this weekend to protest the U.S. and Israeli ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. Well over 8,000 Palestinians have been murdered by the Zionist apartheid regime, with the majority women and children, and bombs continue to be unleashed, and a threatened invasion of Gaza by Israel possibly taking place soon. And that's just in Gaza. Israel is also attacking the West Bank and other places of historic Palestine. These horrific crimes by the U.S. and Israel take place as they outright defy the United Nations calls for an immediate ceasefire. Millions are engaging in protests and other direct actions to demand an end to the genocide of Palestinians. Organized labor in various nations is an integral part of this resistance, with Palestinian unions playing significant roles as best they can while under a blitzkrieg. A variety of information about organized labor unions and related supporters of Palestine is available at laborforpalestine.net. The General Palestinian Federation of Trade Unions has put out a petition entitled Stand with Palestinian Workers, Cease the Genocide Now, Stop Arming Israel, which they're asking in particular union workers to sign, and that's available at laborforpalestine.net. And as we mentioned in our last episode, we want to raise this again because it's so important. The United Electric Workers Resolution was passed September 21, 2023 at their national convention, pro-Palestinian resolution. And there's an article in indhesetimes.com, and it describes not only that resolution in support of Palestine, but also other union support in this country and beyond. Worldwide, the World Federation of Trade Unions, otherwise known as the WFTU, and their website is WF as in Frank, TUcentral.org. A delegation from the WFTU, a mission to the Middle East, led by General Secretary Pompis Kritis, was successfully completed October 22nd. As part of that delegation, WFTU leaders put out a statement on October 26th, and that statement reads, quote, "The WFTU General Secretary addressed a solidarity gathering with the heroic Palestinian people in Damascus, Syria on October 26, 2023. The gathering took place in the headquarters of the General Federation of Trade Unions in Syria and had a massive participation of hundreds of workers from Syria and Palestine. As the General Secretary addressed for the WFTU, it is clear that the Israeli crimes committed against the Palestinian people received the support and tolerance of the big imperialist powers, the USA, the European Union, and the rest of their allies." The WFTU statement continued from October 26th. "We will continue standing in solidarity with Palestine and to condemn the new barbaric aggressiveness which aims to impose by brute force of arms the perpetuation of the occupation of the Palestinian land, the colonization of Palestinian and other Arab territories, and the denial of the right of refugees to return to their homes in peace and security. It is also clear that today the need for international solidarity might be more needed and more urgent than ever. On behalf of the WFTU, the General Secretary assured for the readiness of the Federation to strengthen even more the solidarity wave in support of Palestine, to mobilize the working class against the Israeli aggression, against the hypocrisy of the imperialist states, against the barbaric behavior and the mass killing of innocent people." And that's the conclusion of the WFTU statement put forth on October 26th, and that is available at the World Federation of Trade Unions website, and share that widely. It is suggested around the world as wherever and when, how we can. And for ongoing coverage of developments in Palestine, see the Electronic Intifada and the Palestine Chronicle. And Rick's going to take us to the UAW and developments there.
All right, that's right. Bringing it home a little bit to the UAW strike. So this article is coming from CNBC. This was published yesterday, and it reads as follows. The United Auto Workers Union and Stellantis have agreed to a tentative deal following roughly 6 weeks of targeted U.S. labor strikes, the union announced on Saturday. The agreement, which must still be approved by local union leaders and ratified by members, is patterned off a 4.5-year agreement reached between the union and Ford Motor Company on Wednesday. Meanwhile, while there have been hopes that the UAW would soon reach a similar deal with General Motors, on Saturday, the union expanded its strike to an additional GM assembly plant in Spring Hill, Tennessee. Quote, "We are disappointed by GM's unnecessary and irresponsible refusal to come to a fair agreement," unquote, UAW President Shawn Fain said in a statement. GM did not immediately respond to a CNBC request for comment. Fain was with Stellantis in intense talks Thursday and Friday before turning his attention to GM. UAW and GM have been expected to resume talks on Saturday. The UAW held a meeting early Saturday morning with local Stellantis union leaders following the sides agreeing in principle to the terms of the deal. Quote, once again, we have achieved what just weeks ago we were told was impossible, Fain said in a statement. At Stellantis in particular, we have not only secured a record contract, we have begun to turn the tide in the war on the American working class. Those were the words of UAW President Shawn Fain. So, he always makes it a little bit more exciting to have a union leader with some degree of, militancy and social justice ideas helping him lead. So I also went to the UAW website to see what bits of information, what updates it could give as far as negotiations. And this is what they have as far as negotiations for the Ford contract. And I'm just going to bullet point these. Now, the first bullet point is how UAW notes how wages increased by 21% from the year 2001 to the year 2022. That's a 21% wage increase over the course of 21 years, and compares that to the 25% wage increase that's in this tentative agreement right now. So that's interesting. That's a number worth looking at. I'm sure there's more details to that, but this is how the UAW is presenting it. The UAW website also states that Ford temps will receive a 150% raise over the life of the contract. Also, that starting wages at Ford will increase by 68%, and the top wages will increase by 33%. There's another section in the negotiations update of UAW website that says, quote, we made history. And they're referring to how they won back some pre-2009 cost of living adjustment language, and also how they apparently killed divisive wage tiers. So I'm curious about that and wasn't able to go into more detail before the show. But that's also something that the Teamsters supposedly did, do away with some of the tier system or the tier system entirely. I've never delved so deeply into this, but it's been definitely a prominent part of negotiations. Now, as far as the update on Stellantis from the United Auto Workers, a few bullet points there. And again, they modeled this after what they did with Ford, so it's very similar. So current Stellantis temps would get a 168% raise over the course of the contract. Starting wages at Stellantis will increase by 67%. Top tier wages will increase by about 33%. There's another section called Strikes Work, which states, since we launched our stand-up strike against Stellantis, Stellantis's offer has increased in value by 103%. Now, again, I'm putting all these numbers out there because this was achieved through striking. This was achieved through direct action, through going on the picket line, holding a picket sign, through the solidarity of other unions and things like that. Also, just this is riding off the energy of the Teamsters negotiation and what almost came to a strike. This is riding off the energy of SAG-AFTRA and Starbucks workers and GEO, the Graduate Employees Organization. So a lot of things made this possible. Struggle made this possible. Management didn't just hand this stuff over to the workers. So that's why we on this show take exception to anyone ever saying, oh, those greedy union workers. No, this happened through struggle. And it was right before our eyes. We've been reporting on this strike since the very beginning. So let's not forget that. And if anyone speaks about, the wages of UAW members in a negative light, well, this sort of thing is done through struggle. And that's what they just did. UAW workers put it all on the line for these 25% wage increases. So kudos to them. I hope the UAW members like their contract enough to ratify it. That's in their hands at this point, but we will keep you updated as to where that goes and how that ends. So up next, Brian is going to talk to us a little bit about what's going on in Starbucks.
Thanks, Rick. Similar to the UAW workers and many others we've discussed on the show, listeners, Starbucks Workers United continues apace with their wonderful campaigns of resistance and fighting for their unions across the country. There will be a Red Cup Rebellion nationwide, November 16th, 2023. This will include a whole variety of actions at stores, in particular targeting non-union stores to win union contracts at those stores. And in Madison, Wisconsin, November 16th, the South Central Federation of Labor is going to leaflet non-union stores to build solidarity for union drives. They're going to start at the South Central Federation of Labor, and they are going to go around the city to stop at non-union Starbucks stores to develop solidarity and to petition and to appeal to workers and customers to support the union drive. So for more information on this and other union events in Madison and Wisconsin, see the South Central Federation of Labor website and social media. There's a variety of activities taking place in the coming weeks and very exciting developments. As we've talked in the show, there's various developments going on with unions and interviewed various union leaders here at We Rise Fighting, and we will continue to do that in Wisconsin and beyond. All right, Rick.
All right, so reporting now from the Kaiser Permanente struggle. As people know who've been listening to our show, Kaiser Permanente workers went on strike and are right now looking over a tentative agreement. And some of the details of the tentative agreement were made public on the unioncoalition.org website. And that's the union coalition that represents the Kaiser Permanente, the 85,000 Kaiser Permanente workers that were just on strike. Here are some of the bullet points from what's on the website as far as some of the language from the tentative agreement. So this is what they have. They state that the contract would provide 21% across the board raises for all regions. And they break it down like this: 6% in October 2023, 5% in October 2024, 5% wage increases in October 2025, and 5% wage increases in October 2026. The largest raise package in the history of the Kaiser Labor Management Partnership, as they phrase it. Another bullet point from the tentative agreement is that there would be renewed outsourcing and subcontracting protections for all classifications, including revenue cycle workers. The tentative agreement also proposes a $1,500 ratification bonus for all workers, and they increased the minimum wage for Kaiser Permanente workers. In California, as of June 2024, the minimum wage for Kaiser Permanente workers would be $23 an hour. That would jump to $24 an hour in June 2025 and $25 an hour in June 2026. As far as regions outside of California, in June of 2024, the minimum wage would reach $21 an hour. In 2025, $22 an hour, and 2026, it would be $23 an hour. So this information is public. If anyone wants to check it out, it's on unioncoalition.org. You can check out some of the language around the tentative agreement. So yeah, that's also once again to highlight, as we have done so many times on this show, this information is out there. If you ever want to see what striking workers are proposing, what striking workers are fighting for, what striking workers are being offered by the company, then this information is on websites. It's not a secret. So just putting that out there if you need to look at it more. And finally, real quick, a couple of last things is the GEO. And finally, I'm going to talk about GEO real quick. If you haven't heard the statement from GEO, the Graduate Employees Organization, Local 3550, the statement that's in solidarity with the Palestinian people, you can listen to that on our October 22nd episode of this year, where I read it in its entirety. And I think it serves as a model statement of solidarity with the Palestinian people and something that other unions can pick up. So if you're a union member and you're feeling the struggle of the Palestinian people and you want to bring something to the table, if you want to bring something to the union meeting, some actual language, check out GEO Local 3550. Again, I read the statement in its entirety last week, in the October 22nd episode. But I did also jump on the GEO website and the GEO Instagram account to see what else they've been doing. And since they posted that solidarity statement, they have been attending events and protests at the University of Michigan, demanding that the president divest from Israel. What that means exactly, I'm not sure. But that is one of the types of demands that the Palestinian people have been calling for is, show us some solidarity. If your institution is invested in this war somehow, help by having them divest. So that's what's going on there. And finally, on the SAG-AFTRA front, real quick, they're back at the negotiating tables, and on their website, they're mostly just saying that, we're still negotiating, we're still negotiating, we're still negotiating. So we will continue to keep you updated on all these strikes and more in the weeks to come. Thank you again, everyone, for listening tonight. Have a good night. Solidarity and love to all.